On the coldest morning Maplewood Falls had seen in 50 years. The kind of morning where breath turns to snow before it leaves your lips. The kind of morning when the world feels quiet enough to hear whispered prayers. The town received a letter from the White House, a real one, stamped, signed, sealed with a golden American crest that shone like sunrise. Mayor Evelyn Grace watched her hands shake as she opened it in front of the whole town council. And when she read the words, her breath caught, her eyes glistened, and for the first time in nearly a decade, she felt hope. Because the letter said, Maplewood Falls is selected to provide the national Christmas tree for the United States of America. The room went silent. The world went still. Maplewood Falls, a tiny town tucked between snowy hills and evergreen forests, had just been chosen to represent the entire nation. A miracle for Christmas. But the real story wasn't about the honor. It was about the tree, the people, and a secret that bound them together in ways no one could imagine. The news spread faster than wildfire in a dry summer. Within hours, the Maplewood Falls, Gina, home of the best cinnamon, pancakes in Vermont, was packed wall to wall with excited townsfolk. Everyone had their theories. Maybe they heard we've got the oldest evergreens in the state. No, my cousin said the president went to college in Vermont. Maybe he remembers our town. Or maybe... Old Mr. Whitaker paused dramatically. They finally recognized our Christmas spirit. People laughed, but it was true. Maplewood Falls wasn't just a town. It was a story. Every December, people drove from all over New England to see its lights, its snowfall, its carolers, its magical feeling that couldn't be explained, only experienced. But beneath the joy, there was a layer of fear, because choosing the national Christmas tree meant choosing one tree from their sacred evergreen woods. Those woods weren't just a forest. They were part of the town's soul, and no one knew which tree would be chosen, except one person. Mayor Evelyn Grace walked home that night through softly falling snow, replaying the White House letter in her mind. She wasn't just thinking about logistics or publicity. She was thinking about her father. Her father, Thomas Grace, had been the town forester for nearly 40 years before he passed away 5 Christmases earlier. Before his death, he made Evelyn promise him one thing: take care of the heart tree. At the time, she thought he meant it symbolically, a poetic phrase from a poetic man. But a part of her knew he had meant it literally, because deep inside Evergreen Woods, there was a colossal tree that everyone in town admired. A tree so tall it pierced the winter sky, a tree older than the Civil War, a tree with branches like open arms blessing the world. Locals called it the heart of Maplewood. Her heart twisted. What if the inspectors chose that one? Could she allow the tree her father protected his entire life to be cut down? But she had to keep her promise to the town, too. To unite them, to honor them, to share their spirit with the nation. Evelyn exhaled into the cold air. Tomorrow, the White House forestry team would arrive. Tomorrow, everything would change. At precisely 9:01 a.m., 2 black SUVs pulled up outside Town Hall. Out stepped a team of forestry experts, a historian from the National Park Service, a logistics coordinator, and a young White House representative named Michael Carter. Michael had the kind of smile that could make even a Vermont December feel warm. Mayor Grace? He asked, extending a hand. It's a privilege to be here. The privilege is ours, Evelyn replied, trying not to show the nerves twisting inside her. Together, they walked toward Evergreen Woods as the whole town gathered around, watching with hopeful eyes. When the inspectors entered the forest, their expressions instantly changed. Their voices dropped. Their steps softened, because the forest was breathtaking. The snow lay on the branches like gentle frosting. The air smelled of pine and magic. Sunlight streamed through gaps in the canopy, turning the ground golden and shimmering. One by one, the inspectors began marking potential trees, but Evelyn knew where they were inevitably heading. The heart tree stood in the center of the woods, like a king among giants. Even the wind seemed to hush when it reached that clearing. Michael stepped forward, eyes widening. This is perfect. Evelyn's heart cracked. And, the historian added, adjusting his glasses, I've never seen a tree with such symmetry and health at this age. It's magnificent. Magnificent. Yes, and irreplaceable. Mayor Grace, Michael said gently, with your approval, this will be the national Christmas tree for 2025. Evelyn swallowed tightly. Her father's voice echoed inside her. But then she thought of the town, the pride it would bring, the unity it would spark. Slowly, painfully, she nodded. Maplewood Falls is honored. The decision was made. The heart tree would become America's Christmas tree. When Evelyn announced the chosen tree to Maplewood Falls, emotions erupted. Some people cheered, hugging each other with pure joy. Others stood silent, conflicted. And a few, like 72-year-old Clara Whitman, began to cry. That tree. I met my husband under that tree, Clara whispered. And we held our newborn there every Christmas, another woman said. Children ran around chanting, "We're gonna be famous." Local businesses started designing Home of the National Christmas Tree merchandise. Reporters from Boston and New York showed up within hours. But not everyone celebrated. A young boy named Lucas Parker, around 12, approached Evelyn later that night. His father had passed away the previous year, and they used to visit the heart tree every Christmas to hang a wooden star together. "Mayor Grace," he said softly, Can it stay? Please? It's the last place I remember my dad smiling." Evelyn knelt, feeling her throat tighten. "I wish it could, sweetheart," she whispered. "But your father's love isn't in the tree, it's in you." Lucas nodded, but tears slipped down anyway. Evelyn held him until he stopped shaking. That night, she sat alone in her office and cried for the first time in years, not because she doubted the decision, but because she knew the story was bigger than her. This wasn't just about a tree, it was about memories, love, loss, hope, and now the whole country would share it. For the next week, Maplewood Falls transformed into a humming machine of community action. Everyone played a part. The high school shop class built special wooden supports to protect the trunk. The Maplewood Veterans Association prepared the parade route. The local bakery made gingerbread cookies shaped like the heart tree. The fire department hung lights around town so bright they could be seen from the highway. The extraction was scheduled for December 12th. Forestry teams arrived with cranes, transport pads, climate-controlled trailers, and miles of protective rope. People gathered around the heart tree with candles the night before, forming a glowing circle of gratitude. Mayor Evelyn stepped forward to speak. "My father spent his life protecting this forest," she said, voice trembling. "Tonight we are not losing the heart tree. We are giving it to America so the world can feel the love. We've grown here for generations. This tree is Maplewood Falls' gift to the nation." She wasn't prepared for what happened next. One by one, townspeople stepped forward, placing tiny ornaments, letters, ribbons, and memories at the base of the tree, tokens to send with it on its journey. A message from Clara, "For the love we shared and the years you witnessed." A letter from Lucas, "For my dad. Please shine bright so he can see us." A ribbon from the kindergarten class, "From little dreamers with big hearts." Michael Carter watched from behind, deeply moved. He had overseen 3 previous national Christmas trees, but never anything as sacred as this. On the morning of December 12th, the sky was pale silver, and the air hummed with anticipation. Reporters and camera crews lined the woods. Drones circled overhead. Crowds filled the snowy pathways. The crane rose slowly, arms extending like a giant reaching for the sky. Evelyn stood with her hands clenched, her breath unsteady. Then the saw started. A sharp buzzing echoed through the forest. People flinched. Children covered their ears. Clara held her chest, whispering memories. The cut was careful, gentle, almost respectful, like the tree itself was being asked to give consent. When the trunk finally gave way, the heart tree leaned into the ropes, swaying gracefully as if bowing goodbye. Some people cried openly, others clapped softly in honor. And then, with a slow, majestic lift, the crane raised the heart tree into the frosty air. A giant, a legend, a piece of Maplewood Falls. On its way to the nation's capital, the tree traveled like a celebrity. State troopers escorted it through Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and finally into Washington, D.C. People lined highways with signs. "Thank you, Maplewood Falls. Merry Christmas, America. Beautiful tree. We love Vermont." Social media exploded. "Just heart of Maplewood. Dada National Christmas Tree. And from Vermont with love." It was the most viral Christmas tree in U.S. history. Evelyn, Lucas, the high school choir, Mr. Whitaker, Clara, and dozens of townsfolk boarded buses to follow the tree to D.C. For many of them, it was the first time leaving Vermont. Their excitement turned to awe when they arrived. The National Mall sparkled with thousands of lights. The Washington Monument towered against the night sky, and the heart tree was carefully installed near the ellipse, straight and proud. Workers dressed it with over 150,000 lights and ornaments, some donated by Maplewood Falls. It looked magical, as if Maplewood's spirit had taken root in the capital. On December 15th, under a sky full of stars, Thousands gathered for the lighting ceremony. Millions more watched on TV and online. The president stepped forward. "Tonight," he said, "we light not just a Christmas tree, but a symbol of hope from the heart of one small American town, Maplewood Falls reminds us that even the smallest communities can shine the brightest." Then he turned to Evelyn. "Mayor Grace, would you do us the honor?" Evelyn froze. Her breath caught. Her heart pounded. Her father's voice whispered inside her. Michael nodded gently toward her. She stepped forward, hands trembling over the switch. "For my father," she whispered, "and for Maplewood Falls." She pressed it. The tree exploded into light. Golden, brilliant, breathtaking. The crowd gasped. Children cheered. Carols filled the air. Evelyn felt tears fall, but they were warm, not sad. The heart tree wasn't gone. It was alive, more alive than ever before. Lucas tugged her coat sleeve. "Mayor Grace," he whispered, eyes glowing. "It's like the whole world can see my dad smiling." Evelyn hugged him tightly. This was why the tree had been chosen. The next morning, the nation woke up to headlines. The tree that brought America to tears. Vermont town delivers the most beautiful national Christmas tree in U.S. history. Small town, big heart. Maplewood Falls instantly became famous. Tourists flocked to Vermont. Businesses boomed. Families reconnected. Locals who had moved away finally came home. And on Christmas Day, something extraordinary happened. A letter arrived at Evelyn's hotel in D.C. No return address, just a pine needle sent. Inside was a handwritten message. "Dear Evelyn, the heart tree was never meant to stay in the forest forever. It was meant to be shared. Thank you for fulfilling my wish. Your father, Thomas Grace." She froze. Her breath vanished, hands shaking. She stared at the signature, her father's handwriting unmistakable. A tear fell onto the paper. She whispered into the quiet room, "Dad, thank you." When the townsfolk returned home after Christmas, they expected to feel emptiness. The heart tree was gone. The forest felt quiet. But something miraculous happened. Tiny saplings, dozens of them, were sprouting around the heart tree's old clearing, as if the tree had left a part of itself behind. Lucas knelt beside the tallest one and placed his wooden star ornament on its tiny branch. "This one's ours," he whispered. Clara smiled softly. Mr. Whitaker wiped a tear. Evelyn placed her hand against the new growth. For the first time, she felt peace. The heart tree hadn't been taken away. It had been planted in two places. In Washington for the nation, and here in Maplewood Falls, where love always grows back. The next year, the town renamed the clearing Grace Grove, in honor of Thomas Grace, the man who protected the heart of Maplewood. Every year since, Maplewood Falls travels to Washington to watch the national Christmas tree lighting. Every year, new saplings grow in Grace Grove. Every year, Lucas places a new wooden star. Every year, Clara whispers a memory. Every year, Evelyn feels her father beside her. And every year, millions of Americans look at the national Christmas tree and feel the warmth, love, and unity of one small Vermont town that sent its heart to the nation. A town where Christmas is not just a day, it is a feeling, a promise, a legacy, a light that will never fade.